it do? Snackers, snackettes, and snack X's. It's your boy Gage. I'm here with Sin.
Yes, sir.
Jokes is missing for now, but is on
For
his
now.
way.
Uh-huh.
Marcus with the fresh wham in the background in the Twitch. What up, Marcus? You are now tuned in to Loaded Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today, ooh, that Microsoft FTC, it's a whole thing. We got trailers to talk about. It's a whole thing, man. There's a lot going on. We're gonna talk about Blerdcon.
Okay.
How the weekend was. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about. Doctor Who, what up?
What up, Doc?
Where's Frankie? Tell Frankie I said what up. Yeah, so lots to discuss. Oh shucks. What up, kid?
What up, kidlet?
Kayla, you're getting old on me. You know what I'm saying? Getting old on me. It's good to see you hanging out in the chat though. I have missed you. I'm hoping to see you in Baltimore. That just feels like it's far away, right, Sin?
Big time, yeah.
Sin, I'm just gonna double check. You can't see the chat, can you?
I see no chat.
Andrew says, "Good evening, fellas. Her new convention at Dover Mall called Blue Hen Comic Con. Are you guys attending? First time hearing of it.
That's the first for us.
That is news to me, and I don't know what a blue hen is.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure about that. But timing, I'm gonna go with no, because timing, like we have a bunch of other conventions already lined up.
What up, Heather?
What up, Heather? Sam said, "I know, man. I was thinking about how I was 12 when we met." Ew.
Yeah. That's
disgusting. Tati, what up, Tot?
Hey, Tot.
Taylor says she'll be there. Be more it is, y'all.
All right.
We will be there. Looking forward to seeing all of you. Yes, and you can't see the chat, right?
Nope, can't see the chat.
Excellent. That means you all can say whatever you want about Sin in the chat.
Pretty much.
Can't do a thing. So here's how we're gonna do this. I am going to paste the Beacons link for everyone. I'm also going to pop it up here for you. Let's take some finagling, y'all. I gotta jump back and forth between multiple places. It's kind of crazy. There for all of you to see is the link in your chats as well as on the screen. Cuddy, Blue Hen is either Delaware State or DE Tech mascot. Okay. All right. But it's at the mall, not at one of the schools, which is also weird. Is that an actual mall? And is there a comic book store in the mall? You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a one day. Maybe we could sneak to that. Delaware is not that far. Kid that laughed at me saying ew. It's totally fair. Totally fair. Sin, you got a job to do.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, and Ellis Embe. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate it.
November 18th and 19th, Blue Hen is a state bird of Delaware. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure that lines up with
Anime NYC.
Not that late this year, I don't think.
Anime NYC.
Anime NYC is that same time. So that's tricky. So not necessarily impossible. We might have to split up. Sometimes that happens. Delaware is close enough to Philly that since I always want a cheesesteak. But we're
Like
also
what?
always in recovery
Facts.
on that time from Extra Life. I should probably uh, turn that off because that's gonna keep going off all day. Oh, look at you guys being so nice to each other in the chat on YouTube. You all are wonderful. Sin,
Yeah.
you look a little tired, buddy.
Extremely, but I'm here.
So not a little, extremely.
Sure, yes, I'm very tired.
Okay. All right. So does that mean when the show is over, no games for you? Straight to bed.
No, what that means is when the show's over, I'm gonna watch some anime and then I'm gonna go to bed. It looks like our weekly days are gonna be Tuesdays, so
Okay.
they split up for 2 times in a week, but we got a couple things to watch tonight.
All right. Well, jokes should be with us soon, jumping in. Come on from work. Should be coming in, but we want him to be safe, so no rush. In the meantime, we're gonna talk about stuff that he's generally heard us talk about anyway, and so have you. However, Xbox and Microsoft have won their court case to stop the injunction that the FTC has put in place against them to try to prevent their purchase of Activision and Blizzard and King. Sin. Before I start getting into like nitty gritty and things that were posted, did you read any of this or see any of this or hear any of this?
I've read a little bit of the article you sent today in between doing work.
I didn't send that. Joke sent that.
Well, like I said, somebody said it, so I did look at it a little bit when I had a chance at work. I'm just glad that it's pretty much all over now. Pretty much. I know they still got the UK to deal with, and their issues.
Well,
but
well, basically what has happened is this like 5-day trial was to see whether or not the case that the FTC had, which was pushed to like August, basically Microsoft was going to attempt to go ahead and purchase Activision Blizzard before that case came in. So the FTC put forth an injunction to try to stop them from doing that. And so they had to have this case to see whether or not it even makes sense to have another court case. In a nutshell, what the FTC found based on the evidence that was presented by both the FTC and Microsoft was that the FTC basically has no case in terms of them trying to block the acquisition under the guise of that acquisition being bad for competition. Fair Trade Commission has the job of protecting the consumer by allowing competition to take place and preventing the monopolization of any particular market. And so they were unable to prove to this judge. Basically, this judge made it sound like it's almost stupid for y'all to even go to court in August. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm going to read a little bit of what was said. So, the Judge Corley, said Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been described as the largest in tech history. It deserves scrutiny. That scrutiny has paid off. Microsoft has committed in writing, in public, and in court to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for 10 years on parity with Xbox. It made an agreement with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Switch. And it entered several agreements for the first for the first time bring Activision's content to several cloud gaming services. This court's responsibility in this case is narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted. perhaps even terminated, pending resolution of the FTC administrative action. For the reasons explained, it's going to get a little court jargony. The court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood it will prevail on its claim this particular vertical merger in this specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access to Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion for a preliminary injunction is therefore denied. And that basically says it all. There's certainly a lot more to it. And there is obviously still the CMA. So we talked about this before, Sin.
Is it the same judge? Just a question. Just the same judge that was like getting on Sony about like Game Pass and all that type of stuff a little while back?
Say that one more time. Is this the same judge that did what?
Same judge, like they I think they were talking to Sony not too far along, and they were talking about how like this is not fair, or whatever, and she was bringing up Game Pass, like that seems like a good deal for everybody, and
yes,
yada yada. Okay,
this is the same judge who, like 2 weeks ago, they did like a 5-day trial. This is that same judge, and this is that judge's decision based on the evidence that happened over that 5-day.
Gotcha.
Trial,
okay,
basically. J. Robert Dean said he's not sure what's louder. Gay just had her Jokes' absence. Well, we're gonna go with Jokes' absence because wait till you see this hat in the black light. So the case against the FTC is get out more. Well, yeah, the FTC basically is at a place where they could still take Microsoft to court and probably will. They are in a position to appeal and say we still think that this is bad for the people. But after having had this judge say what they've said, there's a high likelihood that another judge would throw it out. Is kind of where that is. That's for you, Sam. I'm gonna let you read
that. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I see you, Anime Ceramics mug.
Fresh mug.
Did see Zayna jump into the chat. What up, Zay?
What up, Zay?
Man says good evening.
Hey, mama.
Andrew says, Sin, I understand tired. I have a fever right now. Hope y'all's health is fantastic, though. Andrew, please.
After a
drink
very
something
rough Sunday.
cool. Try to bring it down some. You know what I mean? Shake that fever off. I appreciate you not feeling well, but still tuning in to hang out with us here. That is greatly appreciated. Please take care of yourself. Just so you know, J. Robert Dean's Kidler did say hi. I just want you to know. I haven't seen you in minutes. So you know. Yeah, so basically where this puts the case is Microsoft is likely going to close this. They're going to make this purchase. The date that the purchase had to be done by was the 18th of this month. So they will likely just go ahead and do it, even though the CMA has moved to block it in the UK. And basically what that would mean is that they would have to, still deal with that. However, after this happened, check this out. Minutes after Judge Corley's decision, both the CMA and Microsoft have agreed to pause their legal battle in the UK to negotiate how the Activision Blizzard deal could be modified to address the CMA's cloud gaming concerns. The CAT, which is the tribunal in the UK, will need to approve this pause, but it increasingly looks like all parties are willing to secure a remedy in the UK. So, that being said, it looks like on the strength of the FTC basically losing this injunction, the CMA is like, nope, they're going to do it anyway. And somehow our consumers are going to end up left out. Literally out of like 45 countries, they're the only ones who are like, It was the U.S. and them. U.S. just lost in their own court, and the tribunal was likely to find and do the same thing. And what that does to the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK is it makes it look like they're against the consumer doing well, which is essentially what it is. We're for Sony and we're against the consumer. That's there. If you actually, I mean, it's pages and pages and pages, and I did look over a lot of it, and the judge literally calls out the FTC for basically trying to protect Sony's market share, which is kind of crazy. So, you know, J. Robert Dean said, missed you boys at Logic Trivia on Saturday. We were at Blerdcon.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Who's in the heat?
Being what? Ooh. Yeah. So here's my question, Sin. Because again, like we've talked about this in depth, and obviously, we were unsure of what direction it was going to go, although we were pretty sure Microsoft was going to pull this off because everything that was coming out not only made it look like they had no real case, but Sony also had no real case because everything they claimed in their own statements in court were basically coming back like, we don't even care if they have them. Like, we're fine. That literally came out of their own CEO's mouth. So here's the thing that I guess is what I question. So Microsoft has done these deals promising to bring Call of Duty to these platforms for the next 10 years and for there to be parity and so forth. But like realistically, what does that mean over the next 10? What is the next 10 years? What does gaming in 2033 even look like?
Ooh. I believe it will be a lot more cloud-based in 10 years. Yeah, it'll be a lot more cloud-based.
Could be.
They're definitely going to be pushing for that. I think cross-platform, cross-play will be a lot stronger. Since we're just now.
Bro, I saw a commercial. I don't watch TV very often.
No,
somehow I was watching TV. I'm not even sure how it happened. And I saw a commercial for crossplay for NBA 2K24. Like literally, it's a commercial where the dude is like running down the street and running into like all these other people, all these famous people, and going, crossplay's coming, and then running to other people, crossplay's coming, and then go to somebody else, we're getting crossplay on NBA 2K20. I was like, for real? Is that where we are right now? Like, Sony has such a hold on trying to keep people from being able to actually play together that you have to spend
a commercial
dollars
just to get the word out there
to try to say it. It's a little crazy. Look who decided to
welcome, brother.
Welcome to the show.
What's up?
I'm gonna put a statement right across your chest now. Hey, Robert, I know. I trust it was a good show. So HC and the Fool were there. That is true. Plus a couple of kids love comic friends too. Yep. Chris Flick, Marcus, Greg. Absolutely. And we are definitely going to talk about that show, but we're not going to talk about it until the end of this show. So I implore you to stay tuned. Jokes.
Yes, sir.
Will Call of Duty even matter in 10 years?
I think it'll still matter. At least because of the, like, granted, there's other first-person shooters and things that are out there, but there's nothing else. Like, Battlefield is here, but it's not making a wave against Call of Duty. Battlefield has its fans. Call of Duty has its fans. Unless something can be created that can stand in that ring with Call of Duty, it'll still be here in 10 years.
Andrew said Cobb will be like how we get new soldiers in Gran Turismo. Welcome to the military, son. With your kill streak, you will be this. I mean, I imagine that Call of Duty stays relatively ubiquitous, right? There's nothing like it to be real. Call of Duty is an anomaly. There is no other franchise that does what Call of Duty does year over year over year. Period. Like, there's just nobody else that does that. That one's
I got to come through and grace the show sometimes.
Sometimes, at some point. But I also think that this, 10 years is a long time. And I think there's plenty of time for anybody else to develop something that could come along, and that thing could be the new thing or the next big thing, right? Or if Microsoft says, look, we're only going to do Call of Duty like every 3 years, you know what I mean? And we'll maintain Warzone and do a new game, like a new title, a numbered title or something like that. Every 2 or 3 years, we maintain Warzone and we pull those other teams off of it and let them actually go be creative like they used to be before they got stuck in the Call of Duty rotation and those teams couldn't do anything else. Robert Dean said you could always join the actual military. I why though? But why?
I'm good with COD.
Yeah, I'm not even good with COD.
Oh,
Sam
absolutely.
Says, oh, kidding, Mr. Jokes.
Yeah, because I can respawn. I can't quite do that in real life.
Doesn't work like that.
Jokes, I would hope you would be a little less reckless in real life.
I am.
Call of Duty.
But in Call of Duty, things happen.
Hey, listen. Margaret said, as long as I get Treyarch zombies, I don't care what happens. And you know what? I don't even play it for the zombies. You know what? When Grand Theft Auto 6 drops,
they put zombies in that. That's a wrap.
I'm done. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Phil Spencer did put out a statement. Okay. But it's like 5 paragraphs, so I'm not going to read that
essay.
I'm positive. I mean, it's poignant. It's cool. It says a lot, but I think now the question is, Sin, what happens next, right? So after Microsoft closes this deal, how do you think Sony reacts? What do you think the reaction is? Do they buy somebody else? Do they announce in 2 weeks that they are actually going to acquire Square Enix? Like, what's PlayStation's move? Because I feel like, right, because console wars are that, for whatever reason, right, that Sony is going to feel like this is a loss for them, and it definitely will feel like a loss to the legions of PlayStation fans who were like begging and crying about this even happening and that Microsoft shouldn't be allowed to do this. Is there, and I do want to call out that the judge did say, like, in the long statements of everything, literally the judge was like calling out Sony for like doing deals that give them content before it goes to Microsoft, doing deals that prevent content from going to Xbox, doing deals that lock stuff exclusively to their console that aren't their own first party studios. Like, literally was calling all that out and talking about how they use their position in the market as the market leader to pressure other companies and third parties into feeling like they don't have a choice but to do those kind of deals with them, and that this would actually even that out and create some parity. So what do you think Sony's reaction to this is? And before you go too far, Greg is saying, what is Microsoft buying? Microsoft is spending $69.7 billion to buy Activision Blizzard King. Sin, what do they do?
They're going to have to say something, because they're going to get, I feel like, crucified if they don't. They have to make a big purchase somewhere. They're going to have to put out a statement, something, because people like us, other reporters and stuff like that, it's been a mess with Sony with this whole thing. Like you were saying earlier, with what the president said and the judge nailing down on them. So a big studio acquisition could be beneficial to put, the PlayStation fanboys, at ease for a moment. But they're going to have to talk to their fan base. They're going to have to say something to them like, don't worry about the future. All's good. You're not going to miss Call of Duty, all that rigmarole. They're going to have to say something. I think it's a press release, and they're going to have to say something like with their dollars. Make a purchase of something to just kind of just calm everybody down until they can get something, fully up and running to combat this. But they got to do something.
How long before we start to see the Activision catalog hit Game Pass? When does that announcement happen? Are we talking Gamescom?
Let's say, because from one of the articles I read, like a good chunk of this could be done at least with like in the next month or so, like that. So
should be done in the next week.
So
I mean, the deadline for getting the deal done is the 18th. Because if they didn't get the deal done by the 18th,
they had to pay $1
billion to them. So they're gonna get it done before then.
Gamescom's is August, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe so.
So I think
that's next month.
Yeah, I definitely think, let's say within this week things get accomplished. I think we see a small few things, maybe not necessarily like major titles, but we just see a couple of notable things just start to slide into Game Pass. So let's say, you know what? Let's flip flop. Maybe it doesn't necessarily do the Xbox side, but maybe Game Pass PC. Maybe we see like a World of Warcraft slide into Game Pass PC, where maybe you don't necessarily get like all the extra DLC and things, but just the fact of seeing World of Warcraft living inside of Game Pass would be kind of cool to see. But I think some of those extra finite things we won't see. They'll try to hold on to it until Gamescom, but they're going to probably try to shoot out there with one major type of thing, like something like that.
Is this year's new Call of Duty coming to Game Pass? Does it just get announced right away with the title? Like, is it just?
Yes. That's how you make that impact. Call of Duty is going to go into Game Pass. You know what? If it wasn't the latest one, they'll put every other one in there. It's either going to be every other one, or they'll just launch up with the new one. I think at this point, you just go ahead. You just throw the new title in Game Pass.
Send
one. Yeah.
Does the new Call of Duty go into PlayStation Plus?
That would be a smart move on their part, but I don't think they will.
No,
I don't think they will.
I mean, let's keep in mind that like Sony they're the only ones who haven't signed a deal. Microsoft offered a deal, and they have said publicly that they will keep it on PlayStation. But PlayStation, they're the only ones who haven't signed a deal, haven't signed a contract with Microsoft to do it. So if Microsoft didn't do it, if there's some reason, again, because I feel like what they want to do is be able to go to the negotiation table and be like, all right, you can still put it on here, but remember that we have the market share and we have the most players, and the most money from Call of Duty is made on our platform. So you need to give us a bigger chunk of, whatever it is. And clearly, when new systems get ready to come out, PlayStation's already said, like, we're not going to give them development kits.
And they can't be mad, but anyone but themselves, for whatever reason, if Call of Duty shows back up on the platform and there's glitches and bugs because you didn't want to give them the ability to do that stuff, there's nobody else to blame for that.
No, but the PlayStation fanboys will come out, they'll blame Xbox. It's their fault.
Oh, they're going to blame
They're
Xbox.
Sabotaging. No, go read. They said they weren't going to give them dev kits, and now this is what you got to work with.
I mean, look, I'm not saying it's not an understandable thing, right? I can understand that if you're Sony, you don't want to give what you're working on and developing as your new technology to the people who are also going to be developing a console. That's totally understandable. I get it. It just means that Call of Duty is going to have to come out later or something. Like, how are they supposed to develop for it if they don't know?
Yep.
Right. So I think there's still a lot to be seen in terms of what that actually means. Huh?
I like Call of Duty will only release on PS4 because it's the old stuff and they can do that without a problem.
Let me say, Phil Spencer said in court, on the stand, under oath, I'm not being tricky. I'm not playing with words. Let me make this clear. Every version of PlayStation going forward, like, we have every intent of keeping it on PlayStation. That doesn't mean we're only going to put it on PlayStation 4, or we're only going to do it on PlayStation 3, or we'll do some backwards joint for the Vita, PlayStation 6, PlayStation 7, whatever it's called. Like, we are going to continue to do it. Like, he literally said, like, I know people are going to try to take this, and because I said I'll keep it on PlayStation, people are going to no, we're going to continue to release it. But obviously, their ability to do that is going to be based on Sony allowing them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the contract. Yeah. Well, they don't necessarily have to sign a contract,
but
they got to
be
give
some type of. There's got to be a middle ground.
You got to be able to develop for the joint.
Right. You want us to continue to give you the game. At least give our team the tools to create and present a product that is going to be worth still being on the platform.
See how that goes. Let's pivot real quick. You want to pivot, Jokes?
Let's go for it.
Pivot. Let's take a look at this new Ahsoka trailer.
Yeah.
Pow. And begin.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
Oh, he ain't make it.
No, you are not.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one. You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
Oh!
As a Jedi,
Okay.
sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Oh, cutting the hair.
Nice haircut.
So there it
Explain too much.
Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain.
Run, baby.
You have no power.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh, buddies. All right, Jokes, thoughts.
I like what they showed us in that trailer. Like I'm not gonna say that I am like the super Star Wars fan or anything like that, but there's something about seeing this unfold, the way it looks. I mean, it's newer. I don't know what it is. I'm amped for it. Like, I don't listen.
Sam.
The disrespect.
Like, I'm amped for it, especially knowing that
You know what, Sam? You are definitely your father's child.
That this is going to essentially continue from like Star Wars Rebels. Like Star Wars Rebels it's been one of the absolute best things. Like all of those CG animated things that have came out within the last few years for Star Wars have all been solid. I'm amped for this.
Sam?
Man, I'm ready, dog. Like I'm hyped to see the next installment based around Ahsoka. Like, see all the elements of Rebels in this. Like, I'm ready to go. Like,
I ain't say it might be the only one I watch.
Okay.
I think this is the one, definitely.
But it looks it looks good. We got a good look at Thrawn. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready. August 23rd.
Stu Thrawn's a threat. Like I like seeing people like as of what I understand from Thrawn, like obviously no like Sith or Jedi ability. Like this dude is just badass. Like
he's just him.
You don't cross Thrawn. Like it's just plain and simple.
Yeah. If y'all want to know what we're talking about, just go watch Rebels.
J. Robert Deans, you should probably watch Rebels.
Yeah. I heard somebody said this is like Rebels, like season 3 or something like that. Like, I'm down. I'm seeing, we've seen the characters from 3 sprinkled, in the live action. So seeing them all come back in this is going to be pretty amazing.
Spoiler Boy's gonna be busy.
No.
2 episodes, bro.
Off the break.
I like it.
I wonder how long each episode is. Is one like 40 minutes, one like 30? Or they like
I feel like the first, I feel like
episodes.
At least one's probably going to be like an hour, and then the other one will be like 40.
Okay.
I mean,
do we have an episode count? Have they? Have they put out an episode count?
I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. I kind of don't care.
Like,
I'm gonna watch that joint till they stop.
No, I'm mostly on the same page with it. It's just like it'd be nice for like if this the way it's being for 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
I think that's not too bad. I think 8 is a good.
Sam said she missed it because she was being a smart ass. It comes out on August 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
She said 4.
Nah,
man.
If it was gonna be 4 episodes, that you might just make a movie at that point. Like, granted, if you make each episode an hour, 50 minutes to an hour, then you know what? Cool.
J. Robert Dean said it was not one of the convenient times when the DVD releases were a little confusing. Is the whole thing on Plus, or is there a complete DVD series? It's all on Plus. You can watch it all on Disney Plus. All the Rebels is there. Andrew said, I love the Heir to the Empire stuff, so hopefully this makes up for not adapting these sequels in the first place. I do believe that's kind of what they're going for, at least attempting to. I do believe. Zaina says, I want you to know that 8 by Sin sounded a lot like a sneeze.
How does it sound like a sneeze?
Say it again.
8.
I don't know.
I
don't know. But what that really means is she was in her room chuckling.
Apparently.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They teaming up on you. Yes, J. Robert Dean's your kid.
All day.
All day. Let's do another one. Blue Beetle trailer.
All right, DC.
Okay. I want to fly. Let's do this. Yeah! You gotta force it to come out. What do you... You're a genius.
Well, I know. But what I say?
No! Wait.
That's a good way to do it.
Did you know what was going to happen to my brother when you stuck him with this world-destroying thing?
It's called the Scarab. I had no idea it would activate. It has to choose you.
So how do we get it to unchoose me?
Host acquired.
Who said that?
Systems tracking 3,
Okay,
2.
it's gonna be okay.
Uptown, baby. I was down, but they see I'm up now, baby.
Host overreacting.
Overreacting? You kidnapped me!
When I hit you with that, you know.
Threat approaching. Engaging host protection.
She get like a judo. And when we get in mode, I'ma dog it like I'm Cujo.
Threat eliminated.
Sorry about that!
What do you think the government is going to do when they figure out that some kid has this military tech?
Bust it down, bust it down.
My man, like,
I'm going to change the world with the power of the Scarab. It belongs to me.
Watch out, watch out!
Not the way, but the way don't stop.
Oh, he's pissed.
That punch he took? Yeah. Was that punch he took?
Listen to me!
Uptown, baby.
You got the wrong guy! I'm a nobody! I swear!
I was down, but they see I'm up now, baby.
The world is a place to protect.
I have an arsenal at my disposal.
Anything, please!
Watch and learn, Jaime. Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Yeah, that's more like it.
That love you feel for your family makes you weak.
You're wrong. My family, that's what makes me strong.
Oh, I forgot how bad it looks.
Target the family.
Sorry, my mom.
Jaime?
You are a superhero, cabrón.
Y'all take shots, y'all aim up. Whoa!
You're the Blue Beetle.
I could use that arsenal right about now.
God, you never ask.
Hell yeah.
They've been trying to stop the way, but the way don't stop.
Yeah.
Bust it down, bust it down.
Okay, Grandma.
I advise we back away.
Town, I was down, but they see I'm up now.
Grandma with a Gatling gun.
Okay, a couple things. Because Sam is being her father's child right now, I don't know why he needs a whole movie. All that has to happen is a villain pull up with some raid and a squirt gun, which is essentially what will probably happen. G says the new Karate Kid is Blue Beetle. Karate Kid can't fly and shoot like that. I don't, but I can see that, you know, there might be some kids coming out of that theater trying to fight. If the movie's good, some kids gonna try to fight in the lobby. Like they gonna, you know what I'm talking about, Sam.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Straight up. Andrew said, I'm getting Shazam vibes from the trailer. Well, let me tell you something. Shazam is the best DC movie. So.
And we're talking about the first one, just to reiterate that.
Yeah. He didn't say Shazam 2.
Just said Shazam.
Which is like younger comedy, you know, not taking itself too seriously, even though there's a threat. Heather says she's looking forward to the Blue Beetle movie. I think I am too.
Listen.
Yes, evidently he can kung fu fight. He will learn very quickly. J. Robert Dean says, looks like a lot of the same story beats from the first Shazam, except save getting powers, the family gets weapons. I mean, again, the characters that are DC's arsenal of characters have a lot of the same tropes. Kind of how that work. G said it's possible this is good or bad. Like it can't be in the middle. It's gonna be one or the other.
I mean, this trailer, I would say this is probably one of the first trailers in a while that DC has put out that I'm like, I think actually it looks good. Did a good presentation. Like CG looks good. Definitely nothing like the Flash. I think
that doesn't mean it won't be in there. You won't see it, but like
could be. But I think with trying to start fresh, like I think Blue Beetle has the opportunity to do it and do it right and do it well. And that is my hope that DC can use Blue Beetle as, like, granted, obviously he is not one of the main catalysts to get to the Justice League, but I think after already doing that, what's up, Alfonso?
What up, Alfonso?
After already doing that, I think a different direction for DC is well necessary. So I hope.
You know what? Here's the thing. It's possible. J. Robert Dean says curious if the Beetle ship means a core cameo or not. It's highly possible. It doesn't sound to me like what James Gunn is attempting to do with DC is do something other than the Justice League again. Like it just feels like that's the direction we're going in again, which I get. But I'm telling you, if they go Teen Titans or Young Justice, we might really have something. Like we might really have something.
Great.
Greg says it looks good and has possibilities, but the story and character arc has to work. I mean, well, that's true for anything, but yes, James Gunn is the new Kevin Feige for DC.
Yes, he is.
Here's what I think. I think this movie is going to be pretty good and flop. I think it's going to be a good movie. I think it's going to have decent action. I think the comedy is going to be good. I think it's going to be enjoyable. But I feel like it's going to flop. And that is certainly dependent on what else is in theaters when it comes out. What else is around. There is not, like, I don't know that there's enough happening to make people want to go see it if you don't already know who Blue Beetle is. I don't know that there's enough happening to make kids feel like they want to go see Blue Beetle, pretend to be Blue Beetle, and get ready for Halloween. Like, I don't know that these trailers are not necessarily selling me on that. However, the other thing that I will say about the way this movie looks, based on the trailers that I've seen, it looks super, super, super Nickelodeon. Like, it looks like the Thundermans. It looks like it kind of fits in that layer of the Nickelodeon shows and stuff like that they've been doing, the Nickelodeon movies that they do. It has that kind of a look / feel / appeal. And maybe, you know what I mean? That's speaking to an audience that I'm not partial to be able to really see what they care about. I think Blue Beetle's a cool character. I tend to like Blue Beetle in sidekick type roles along with other people. I don't know that I like Blue Beetle enough to really do a single, like, to put a single thing out.
Right.
Dean says, what concerns me is this trailer is loud, busy, and obnoxious with too much going on, which can sometimes mean they hope the trailer sells a movie that is lacking. Emphasis on sometimes, because this isn't always the case. I remain hopeful for this character project. I mean, same. Again, you have to sell the action. I think they're selling the story exactly as Blue Beetle's story is. It is Spider-Man. It is a kid gets bit by a spider and gets powers. This is a kid gets attacked by a beetle and gets powers. You know what I mean? And has to figure out how to use them and whatever. G says, Gage, true. People don't know Blue Beetle. It's going to have to be off the charts to make an impact. I agree. Andrew says, should I wait until Flash comes to Max?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And I might not watch it when it comes to Max. Not the Thundermans. That's rude. Let me tell you something. Thundermans like that. So are you saying this doesn't look as good as the Thundermans? Because
I hope it's good, but I have no faith in it.
You have no faith in Blue Beetle?
No, I hope it's good, but I don't. DC's been swinging and missing lately.
You don't have the faith in DC doing something.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, DC's just been swinging and missing lately, so I don't. I feel like this will be no different. I hope I'm wrong, but like the trailers don't have me excited to see it. Like, I'm like, okay, it's Blue Beetle, all right, but it's not. It's probably exactly what you're saying, Gage, about it being more kiddie and Nickelodeon. Like it's not clicking like with me when I'm watching it. So, yeah. I mean, of course, you're going to see it, but
J. Robert Dean says, more than anything, it would be nice for young Hispanic kids to have their own new superhero to have for Halloween, since Miss America didn't grab audiences in Doctor Strange 2. I mean,
yeah,
you know, it's a little more difficult to do that when she doesn't really have a uniform, and when parents are like, I think she's a lesbian. They act, you know what I mean? Like they act, it's hard to do that. But also, you know, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Black Panther outfits, you know, one piece, throw it on with the mask, perfect. Blue Beetle's gonna be the same way.
Yep.
One piece joint with the mask is gonna be one of the best cosplays I've ever seen. Was a Blue Beetle at Blerdcon this past weekend.
Yep. He bodied it.
Say, wait till they pay you to watch the Flash. Who pays me to watch the Flash is the question. You hope it's better than the Thundermans. Yeah, me too. But the Thundermans like that. What are you talking about? G said he understands your concerns. See? 7 is on your side. Fonzo said, I don't think we'll ever get to the Infinity Endgame level movies again.
I think something can get us to
I
that
don't think
point.
DC will ever get there. But I'm gonna tell you what. Marvel is working up to something. Like, it feels boring right now. But again, anytime you start fresh,
you gotta start over,
comics, and then they start over. When you get back to zero, you're there to see what they're doing, but you still gotta have the build up.
You gotta lay the groundwork. Like you can't just jump right back into it. And
we have two Avenger movies coming up in the future. Like, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I mean, I hope we get there. It can be done, is what I'm saying. Like, it could certainly happen again. But every time you do it, you gotta reset the playing field. You know what I mean? So the beginning of the game is hardly ever as exciting as the end of the game.
And I think a lot of people, because they're trying to expect this massive thing, like from Marvel. Like, listen, this is just like how it was when Iron Man first came out. We're building these.
Go to bed.
We got to build them up and create the threat. Like, we've seen what we think is the big bad within Kang. I mean, Kang is his own Avengers movie. So, we just got to put those pieces in place again. And I'm along for the ride, especially with things in the middle, like Secret Invasion right now, and us not knowing who the hell we should be trusting right now. Like, this type of stuff is keeping me intrigued until we get to that one movie or show and something happens that's like, oh snap, there's the gear shift, and we're about to be off to that show again.
G said he's disappointed he missed Blerdcon this weekend, but he had work and shoots, and I get it.
I get it. Totally.
Yeah.
Well, we not getting ready to make it any better for you when we get to talking about it. A couple minutes here. We ain't gonna make it no better for you. Alfonso said, I hope we get there. I feel like we will, but I also think that there's a shift that's happening here. Love you too, Kidley. I think there's a shift that's happening right now that is only happening because COVID made it so. People are beginning to really appreciate and enjoy going to the theater again. And theaters are having to really work to make it worth it for you to come to the theater. And not only are they having to work to do it, because look, theaters were like pushing up daisies before COVID was a thing. Before that, like, home theaters really took a huge chunk out of theaters and the theater going experience, and theaters had to reinvent themselves, and they are having to reinvent themselves again. And so you get stuff like iPick and the big comfortable seats and the reclining seats. And the joint I go to in Baltimore, man, they got heated seats. Man.
The Harbor joint.
My man just had a moment right there.
It's nice. They just black leather sassy seats with the worst part of it is they got the old school, like the school desks with where the desk swings in front of the chair.
Yeah.
For you that's the only thing that reminds you of school. Greg said everything is open. People are going wild. Yeah, but like, it's bigger than that, G. Yes, Jay. The heated seats. It's incredible. J. Robert Dean said $25 for a popcorn, drink, and candy sure helps. Sure helps. Who? The theaters? That's the only place they make money anyway. And, look, it is like, oh, you come into the theater, you could only get this for your popcorn if you come to the theater. Like, you could walk in the theater and just buy that and walk out. Like, you only had to get popcorn in it if you don't want to. So let's you know what I mean? But again, like, they're having to do things. They had to fight against Movie Pass, right? When Movie Pass is doing this thing and try to find a way to make it illegal, you're not allowed to use that. You can't stop me from paying for this joint with something I paid for it with. Like, so every theater now has their own
subscription
version
pass, and I love it.
So, Sam said we saw Dial of Destiny as a birthday present. I completely forgot how much I love going to the theater. Totally get it. Totally get it. And I think that is a big reminder for people, but also our tolerance for people shifted again once we lost being able to be around people. We regained a different kind of tolerance for being around people. And not everybody. Some people became more socially anxious and it got worse. But that the push that COVID gave to streaming services, meaning that now movies are only in the theater for 30 to 45 days before it's available on digital anyway. You don't have to go to the theater. Like, again, I don't really feel like I need to go see Flash because it's not like it used to be where I would have to wait 90 days. Used to be like 2 years.
Yeah.
Damn, they're close.
Yeah.
Waiting 90 days is not even a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's 45 days, 30 days. In some cases, it's still the same day. So you don't have to, like, Air, the movie about Michael Jordan, theaters and Amazon Prime, same day. Like, it just, you don't have to, right? And so they had to start doing things to make it more appealing for people to come to the theater, especially at the prices that they charge, especially considering they don't make money on those ticket sales. They only make the money on the concessions. J. Robert Dean said, I'm still not ready to be around people. Wait a week or two, sure, but nearly $100 for one movie and snacks, that's a utility bill. I mean, you're not wrong. However, I mean, going to the movies is in some cases becoming like going to a theme park. Like, I literally go to the theater and pay extra money to sit in seats that move when I watch the movie. Like, they have to do something to increase that experience. Surround sound's not enough anymore, right? Because everybody, you can get surround sound with a sound bar. You don't even need 5 speakers. I mean, still need multiple speakers, but you can have a bar. Like, it's just
sound bar give you good audio.
That kind of a thing. Like, Sin is super particular about where he goes to see his theaters. Jokes almost always only goes to see IMAX. So they're paying the extra money to get the experience in the theater that you can only get by going to the theater.
And I'll give you,
regardless of 4K and all that.
I'll give you an example right now. Me and Tatiana have plans to go see Oppenheimer at the Smithsonian. Like, I want to see, like, they say that this should be experienced on a 70 millimeter, whatever millimeter jump on the screen. And honestly, I've never actually seen a movie. I've never actually seen a movie on the actual Smithsonian screen. So I'm actually looking forward to see what that experience is like. And if for a movie like that, if it does well, I probably gonna make the extra trip out there to see certain IMAX theater movies on that screen.
We'll go see Barbie on that joint.
Listen, if they had it on it, I
probably put you to bed, Sam. But I'm gonna read this. I don't.
Yeah, I already. That's what I was laughing at a second ago when I saw it popped up.
J. Robert said, "Thankfully, our first movie back was Dial of Destiny, and not Crystal Skull." I mean, you know, look, they can't get me to go to the theater to see Indiana Jones.
No, I have to watch.
I'm not interested.
It's been so long.
In the slightest.
Neither am I. I'm good.
However, this Mission Impossible. J. Robert Dean said, honestly, I prefer movies at home. Closed caption is a big part of that. So it's being able to pause the pee. I'm gonna tell you what, J. Robert Deans, I have accidentally purchased tickets to the closed caption theater. I have done it. You can do it. They
do have specific ones
to the theater and watch in closed captions. You absolutely can. Now it can ruin some things, depending on how smart they are about putting people's names
and things.
G said Oppenheimer and Smithsonian for the win. I hear you. Jokes. Since you got here last, let's talk about Blerdcon, buddy. Give me your thoughts on Blerdcon 2023.
Blerdcon was a blast. It was absolute fun. Aside from the heat that I know everybody's going to complain about, I had a good time. You know, we saw a lot of people that typically we see, some people we haven't seen in a while. Blerdcon has grown once again because I tell you, there it was a ton of people there, and it got a little clustered at certain times. Maybe not as bad as Anime Expo, but it got a little clustered.
No.
But I had a blast there. It was a birthday weekend. I couldn't have thought of how to spend it a better way. It's funny you put that up too. AMC said they have 20,000 members that have both showings in the same day. Pretty cool. Whatever. But I thought it was great. Personally, I didn't have any issues necessarily with the con. I know some more of the behind the scenes things and us doing certain things there, but otherwise, I had a blast there.
Sin.
Man, it was hot as hell in there, bro. I just got to reiterate that. But outside of the heat, whether you're inside or outside, had a blast the days I was able to attend. We met a lot of new people, a lot of cool people. We met up with old friends, got to see and talk with them. I think overall, collectively, we knocked it out of the park. A couple issues, but we did a great job. Our panel was a full house, which was amazing.
Panel was beautiful.
Yeah, that was dope.
So you had 2 net fans going?
No, I just had the one with the AC with the air conditioner on it this time, so it helped. I would say, but it was just that hot in there.
Was the AC broke?
Hey, listen, I think they need an upgrade in there.
It wasn't broke, but it just wasn't helping. It was just too many people in there for it to help. What else? Yeah, just a great weekend overall. Had a blast with these guys. Had a blast with the people that were there. You know, we made great content. Had a good time. Went to the wrestling panel. Actually understood people's names this time around, which the first time that's happened. So that was fun to be a part of. But no, good times. Yeah, enjoyed myself.
Dig it. Yeah, I mean, Blerdcon is always a good time. I enjoy the people. It's just hot and nonstop, which I think at this point is part of it. It's like part of what it's it's uncomfortably hot.
Yes.
It really was like being at the cookout outside in the blazing heat, just inside.
I have to say, Blerdcon is awesome, just too hot. But I think that's my point. Like, it's uncomfortably hot, and nobody leaves. Everybody just deals with it. It's like it going in, even if it's your first time going, and it grows ridiculously every year. So there are thousands and thousands of people who it's their first time ever going to Blerdcon every time they do it. And so it's just getting hotter because it's more people. Listen, but it is such a good time. The vibe inside of Blerdcon is it's so different from every other convention because there is music
everywhere.
We even contributed to that this time around.
Hey,
every floor has like a very loud DJ playing somewhere, and no matter where you are in that convention, you can hear music. People are having a party, bro. It is the cookout. It is homecoming. It's
family
a party.
Reunion, all that.
It's not like anything else. That was Blerd Heat Stroke Con. I mean, listen, I don't think nobody got sick.
Nah. Shout out to the cosplayers, because I mean, a lot of them,
all these cons, but I haven't been to one since Ocean City 2022. Hopefully, see you guys one soon. Listen, Drew, we out here. in these streets being conned up. As I said, and considering the heat, it smells pretty good consistently. I mean, there are some pockets.
There was at times
there are some pockets, Heather.
Oh yeah,
but it wasn't as bad as some of these other cons that we've been into that have been ventilated or like had air conditioner in
pretty
there.
musty.
What can we do to make sure it's not so hot? We're obviously bringing the dollars.
Move it to another location.
You know what, G? I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure. This is the first year that I remember seeing like literally giant portable air conditioners like throughout.
Oh my gosh, those things were amazing.
Industrial Jones.
I just think that like as a hotel that is also a convention center, it just seems like it's really not built to handle traffic that is constantly moving through it. So, excuse me. As a convention center, like if someone was having, I don't know, dog, a stethoscope convention, you know what I'm saying? In there, right? Shut up, Sin.
All the things,
the most randomest thing,
right?
Saying you want to pick something for the convention to be about? You got beef with my choice?
Medical supplies. All right, just something like that. Like not just stethoscopes.
Right? Like
people would too.
Move down the escalators, maybe use some of that space to register or whatever, and then they would go into like their prospective rooms. Right? So like when you get all the way downstairs, there's all these different rooms. They would go in this room to see this thing, and there'd be a conference that's in this room, and there'd be something else happening in this room, and people are just like in those areas. With this, the lobby is constantly packed with people. The elevators are constantly packed with people. The escalators are constantly packed with people. The upper levels, where all of the rooms are, where they do the panels and would have conferences, those hallways, inside and out, whether there are panels going or not, constantly people. The stairs are constantly filled with people. Once you get down the escalators, people are constantly moving, standing in that area, playing video games, dancing, singing, yelling, laughing, like, and the concept of the way the building is designed, there are giant skylights. And the sun is literally beaming down into this. It's just not built for the way the convention works, for the way any Comic-Con works. The difference is that, and almost any other place, if you were at an actual convention center, so if you take the Washington DC Convention Center where like AwesomeCon happens, the show floor area is basically completely separate from where all the panels and stuff like that are. It's bigger, it's wider, it's more open. This is like a hotel that happens to have some space for people to have conferences, and it's just not built. You know what I mean? For what that is. Dr. Who says, was thinking about doing a costume contest, but my cosplay material doesn't breathe. I went for the simple airy costume. Again,
nothing wrong with that.
And I'm gonna tell you that there were people who suffered for it.
I know. Shout out to the person that won the cosplay contest and their whole JoJo Stan cosplay. I know that joint had to be hot as hell inside of that thing.
I mean, it looked like big all one piece. Okay, the location doesn't have the capacity, but the Gaylord worked better.
Anything is gonna work better, but
like
it's logistical things when it comes time for moving something into like a Gaylord type of environment. That just gonna probably go up.
I think that the city of Arlington is doing a lot to give and keep Blerdcon happening where it is, because there's so much business coming in. And what is happening and is likely to continue to happen is it will continue to expand to other hotels and become a convention that just happens to happen in multiple hotels at once, because it can't continue to be contained there, and they know that. Like they know that there's some. I think the count was like 10,000 people or something like that.
Yeah.
Nah, he said 20. I swear to God, he said like 20.
It's probably higher. It was probably way higher than that. But just There's a lot of people, right? And
maybe
and
like
over
10.
the course of 4 days, 24 hours nonstop. 2 a.m. is popping. 10 a.m. is popping.
Yep.
3:30 is popping. Inside is popping. Upstairs is popping. Downstairs is popping. Downstairs is popping.
The food trucks
outside popping. The lobby is popping. The parking lot in front of the lobby is
I'm about to
popping.
say just out front in front of the building. It's
Bro,
popping.
the street,
Triangular area.
Yep.
like
we're smoking. Popping,
bro.
They're just but
great time.
Exactly. It feels more like a Lollapalooza, a festival. Just constant people moving and shifting and always around and whatever. And it's like, if you were to liken it to it being like an outdoor festival that just lasted for days, it's the same thing. People just there and they deal with the heat and they dress how they want to. Now, it's people that are in full cosplay that can't breathe and they sweating and dying inside their cosplay. And there's people walking around with almost nothing on.
Mm-hmm.
Some people found a way to beat the heat. It's just kind of what it is. You're right, Heather. The hotel's atrium is literally a greenhouse. It's just big.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy. You know what, Caleb? That's enough out of you. I'm done with you. The guy in the Master Chief cosplay had to be swimming in his own juices. Listen,
I hope he has some fans.
Stewing in his juices is more like it.
What?
Like that was soup inside of there.
Bubbling.
K Dizzle, what up?
What up, K?
Listen, facts. The trash cans popping, bro. It's trash. It's clean. Let me tell you what else is popping. The water.
Water.
What?
The water is popping. It's so hot. The water is so good. Those water jugs. Listen, I don't know what their team of people is that come through and rotate.
No, they was ninjas. They was ninjas. Listen, when Sid had got a cup, got a little bit, just a little small, one of those small cups, and got some water. It didn't look like it was a lot left in the bottle. I went and took my water jug and filled that joint up. Literally, me and Sid turned each other. We said maybe like 3 sentences to each other, and we turned around. I was like, "Hey, yo,
it's full again."
They swapped the joint out. I was like, "We just said two sentences to each other. What the hell?"
I went right back and come on, give me some more. It's too hot in here, bro. Come on.
They ninjas out there with the water.
It's real in there. I look. I mean, Blerdcon again is really it. To me, the closest thing to Blerdcon is MagFest. Like KatsuCon is pretty solid, but like MagFest is like there's literally stuff popping everywhere. Like Katsu is like it's still contained in the rooms. Like, yeah, there's people walking around in the lobby and stuff like that, but it's not like MagFest is like they're having concerts like anywhere. Like people are just whatever. So like if they did Blerdcon at the Gaylord,
I don't think it would be the same.
They would never let us back. Listen,
what?
1 year in, and that's a wrap.
That's it.
They would never let us back,
and they won't, because the thing is, they want the area like where like the gazebo and stuff to be like the quiet area at times. This joint will never be quiet in any shape and form until everybody is gone.
Yep.
Ash, facts. They got the water right. There's no two ways about it. Like, again, like, I love it. I love it. It's hot, and I love it. Like, I'm just, because it's just, again, it's just a vibe. It's like you walk in, you see some dope artwork, and you hear like one of your favorite songs of all time just playing, and people are just stopping and dancing. And you know what I mean? It's just there's nothing like it. It exists in a plane all its own. You know what I mean? I'm sick of it. We tried, y'all. We really did. I'm late and I missed the beginning. It's cool.
It's all good.
Cool. I mean, we love you. Facts. Party time. Like, look, let me tell you something. This year, we did something a little different. Same panel. Panel was cool. Had some things happen at the panel I've never seen happen before. That's for a different discussion slightly. Kay came in, our super producer Kay came in, brought his DJ equipment, sat down at Auditorium's table. Stephen Jones, incredible art. You can see the artwork on the wall back there. that Sin has, right? And he just cleared the space and let K come in and put the turntables down and just spin. And I'm gonna tell you what. As soon as it happened, we was almost late to our own panel.
Yep.
Straight up.
It just people just were stopping and dancing and partying, and it didn't matter what was playing. And like people just accept it. They just kind of let it be because everybody's enjoying themselves. There's always complaints from somebody somewhere about something because that's what life is, right? But like automatically it was like we gotta do it again next year. Like we were asked
2 ways
to do it again next year, right? Like you got to come back, got the same spot, we got to do it again next year. You know, we did several unveilings with Auditorium. We talked to a lot of new people. We did a lot of networking, met a lot of great people who are doing a lot of great things with other conventions that are happening in Jersey and conventions that, like, just there's a lot of that, right? The energy is just different.
It's unmatched.
Dr. Who said, my husband's favorite part is watching the people's faces that aren't there for Blerd. Makes him LOL. Let me tell you something. That's any convention I go to.
Yeah.
The people who aren't there for the convention, who just thought they were booking a nice weekend at the hotel.
You picked the wrong weekend.
The MagFest people, they get that? Be hilarious.
That's who thought that too. Like the people who just think they stand and
try to
people
whisper,
who decide to go to the Gaylord because we're gonna eat at the restaurant in the Gaylord.
What's going on? What's going on here right now?
Where your badge at?
You in the elevator with somebody, bro, who has no idea what's happening, and they look at you and they can tell because like they'll ask us because we don't.
I was about to say because we just in our normal gear. Normally we're matching. At least we'll have like Lotus stacks on everything.
We usually have our badges or something on, so they know we like are a part of it and know what's going on. But that like subtle tap, that's like, what's happening? And then you kind of have to explain it. And like, oh, I didn't know that was the thing.
Matter of fact, I don't know if you caught on the jokes, but Friday when we went to go sit down and eat something, this random white guy came over to us. He just looked at us and said, hey, can I sit right there? And next to me, I was like, sure, like, cool, whatever. He was just
when we just sit over on the side. Yeah.
And then he just like, hey, what's all this? Like he had his food. He was like, what's all this? What's going on? I was like, it's Blerdcon. Yeah, that's all I tell him about it and everything. Like, yeah, celebrate, just
I'm trying to figure out where dude came from. Like, were you at work or something? And you just found out the food trucks was over there. You went and got some food.
He went and got some food and just looked around and said, can I sit next to you? I was like, sure. And he asked me like what all this was, and I was breaking it down to him.
That's
you trying to come through later.
I love those moments. I really do.
He had the biggest smile on his face the whole time. Cool young dude. Just rap to him about it.
That's the other thing. People are just smiling, bro, and dancing and partying. And yes, G, we were almost late to our own panel, bro.
Yes.
Like, we were partying.
K begged. It was like, hey, can I get one more? Can I get one more? And it was like, K.
I said, watching a non-attendee mother with her small child next to the naked group of cheerleaders was pure gold. Not warning. Of course not. Of course not.
They about to learn today.
Don't by now you would think
you
the hotel
staff
going
to the Cinnabar? No, sir.
Nah.
That's the main today.
Yep.
You better make space because you're gonna go sit next to Spider-Man, Master Chief, and you about to sit next to
and you bet not come out after 10.
Oh, what? The freaks come out at night.
Facts. Yeah. So the last thing I want to touch on is the panel. The panel didn't quite go the way I expected it to. We got a lot of positive feedback about the panel. That's not the part that I didn't expect. But we've been doing being comfortable being in geek panels for years now. Let me tell you something. Sam definitely they gonna get We're sweaty. This is the first time we have ever done this panel. Again, this is our being comfortable being a geek panel where we just, again, we're trying to help people get comfortable, right? And I asked at the beginning of the panel, like, so who in here is comfortable? And like 96% of the room raised their hands, like, hi, like, oh, I'm good.
I wasn't expecting.
I'm like, why are you here then? did you not read what the panel is about? Like, it's about helping people get comfortable being their authentic self. Like, that's what we're here for. And I don't know if there were people who were comfortable and then like they just thought maybe there are going to be other people who aren't, and I'll be able to help them help people get comfortable. Right? Hey, let me tell you something. After 10 o'clock, the value of the convention goes up, but it's you paying a different price, strip club price. Literally, Sam, it's literally like asking who in here is still closeted. Heather says it's easy for us to be good at that con. But listen, Heather, we've done this panel at that con. Mm-hmm. I've never had that happen. Usually it's like it's like below 20% of the people will say they're comfortable, right? Yeah. And then it becomes easier to kind of like use that to help kind of talk to people or whatever. This was the most talkative crowd. Like usually I have to rely much more on the panel. Mm-hmm. I would like to have done that more. This crowd was so talkative. They had their hands raised constantly. I got something to say. I want to talk about something. I want to answer this. I want to do this. It was incredible, right? But I also think that I realized that in doing the panel and finding people who said they were comfortable, I think there were people who thought they were comfortable that realized they aren't as comfortable as they thought they were. That they are, in fact, hiding certain pieces of themselves in other places. Mm-hmm. It's you know what, Sam?
Sam's on fire.
You know, we had people that like posted in their stories from the panel saying saying literally healing my inner child, which is wonderful, right? That also tells me that either there's a little bit of bias, right? That like when everybody raises their hands in the room, or it seems like everybody else is, other people do it too, right? So maybe there were people who raised their hand and said they were just comfortable, but really weren't, right? Or thought that saying they weren't comfortable was the wrong answer, right? We had multiple people come up, which is normal, come up and say, man, great panel, loved it, enjoyed it, great conversation, really did A, B, and C for me. People who came up after the panel was over, which again is normal, people coming up and saying, I want to talk more. I want, you know what I mean? And maybe not getting all the things out that they wanted to say or you know, didn't necessarily feel comfortable saying. So we kind of see that. Ash says, I've been attending cons for 15 years, working them for 10, and I'm still not comfortable. We still need your masterclass in comfort. I appreciate that, Ash. You know, we're not gonna stop doing them because of it. It just was an anomaly and something that honestly, mentally, I wasn't prepared for. It meant I'm decent at pivoting immediately. It meant pivoting immediately, but it was a very different vibe than what we normally get. J. Robert said, I would imagine the growing success of Blurred helped lead to a larger number of folks more comfortable in their own shell. Some may have been compensating, but perhaps nerds in general are feeling more comfortable at shows like Blurred. So what I found, J. Robert Deans, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're pretty spot on as far as that's concerned. But one of the questions I asked in the crowd, and I needed to do this as a litmus test, was who in this room grew up with Toonami? And when like 95% of the room raised their hand and said they grew up with Toonami, I knew what we were dealing with. We were dealing with people in Joke's age range or younger, for the most part. That is a generation that has systematically been dealt a hand that makes it easier to be who you are. They have been handed the normalization of anime. It is normal for people to like anime to know what it is. You're kind of weird if you never heard of Naruto. You're kind of weird if you never heard of Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? Like it's cool if you don't know maybe some of the more obscure ones, right? But like at this point, like if you've never heard of My Hero Academia, where have you been? You're a weirdo for not knowing. That is very different from like having the one person in the back who's like, yeah, my first joint was Appleseed. Oh,
yeah,
now
you're talking to me. Yeah,
I know, Sam. You a real one. Sam said I stopped being comfortable being a geek when they stopped selling Dippin' Dots and lemonade at HeroCon. So don't let them sell it. Just go in there and tell them they have to have it or bring it yourself. I think, again, I don't think that it means that there's not a need for it, right? I do think that still there are people who kind of gatekeep and don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
As said, being a nerd is now cool. They didn't suffer the emo days in anime on DVD. Listen, we talking about anime on VHS. That's what we suffered.
Yeah, not even DVD.
Like, hey, you know what, Sin? It actually kind of hurt. Like when we was talking about like having to like really go look for it and call places and be like, do you have such and such? Or we get them next week. Oh man, they're gonna have Dragon Ball next week, and going in and getting like 5 to 10 VHSs that was just recorded off TV from Japan somewhere and sent in, and having somebody go, that's a lot of work to watch. Like audibly said, that's a lot of work.
Hey, listen,
even a choice.
That's how we had to get it.
Even for me, you know,
we had to get it. We had a choice.
Learning that was a thing, and then so I was watching Dragon Ball GT way before the fact of it even being over here in the States. Once I found out about Pandora's Cube,
Appleseed, bro.
Yeah, GT was the one that we had to watch with no subtitles. Like all didn't nothing, just watch it.
Once I found out about Pandora's, it was like I need all those recordings. I went in there with my mom's once, and she was like, "Oh my god, what have we gotten into?"
Robert Dean said, "I hated Dragon Ball release." And let me tell you something, J. Robert Dean. We definitely talked about Suncoast, but we talking about before that. Like before you was running something like before Suncoast could even get their hands on anything anime. Like it was that tough. Figuring out those tapes 4 to 6 at a time was a pain, of course. And like we needed them, and it was super expensive to go and get anything. And listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was renting anime from Blockbuster and hooking to
video outlets
with the double cable and like
recording that joint.
I got to get this. I got to keep this. That's how I originally got Crying Freeman. That's like it just, but again, we went through things that like they don't have to go through. And what I'm learning is that their struggles in being geek and who they are come from different places. And it's not the same thing. It isn't necessarily the being like they're not getting bullied over anime because everybody watches anime, right? And again, we're the people who are in charge of that stuff now. We're like force feeding to people, right? So like I don't know. I'm positive that there are things that kids are into now that like are just not cool if you're into them. Like everybody's into anime, but there's something that like maybe it's like a small like reoccurring group of like kids who now are like into Dungeons and Dragons again because of Stranger Things or something like that, right? And like, but even that, like Stranger Things, helped put D&D back on the map and like make it regular for everybody to just like know what it is and talk about it and kind of have it. And then you get a Dungeons and Dragons movie that actually was really good. J. Robert Dean said, I remember the confusion on my boss's face when he pulled that first anime tape out of the box in like 94. And I had to explain to him pre-Akira. Listen. I explained to somebody what the Akira slide was like yesterday.
What? One of the most iconic things ever.
Dog, that joint is in like
people don't, but it just happens now. People don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
That joint is in
Speaking
like
of expensive, my grandparents got me to knock off Good Times tapes of Disney movies. Now kids have Disney on their tablet. Exactly. It's what it is. Yeah.
Well, speaking of anime, shout out to Shauna for her One Piece cosplay.
Hey.
We got a new fan.
I'm so disappointed.
I'm proud.
So disappointed. Bro.
I joke with Sid. I was like, this is the example of watch one. This is me 1 week after One Piece. This is me after 1 month of watching One Piece.
And on the whole Luffy outfit. Respect.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah. All in all, man, Blerdcon was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, like I always do. We got a lot of content, so a lot of people got a lot of pictures.
Oh, J. Robert Deans.
Go ahead, jokes. Sadly, there was none of that at this convention. This isn't quite. I mean, this actually could very much be the convention for it, but it's not.
Nah, that'll be Otakon in a couple weeks.
Had a really good time. At Blerd. It is literally like a homecoming every year. It just feels like you're just coming back to, you know what I mean? Sam's going to bed, y'all. Good night.
Night, Sam.
Have a wonderful evening.
Oh God, Marcus,
we wouldn't catch you in any cosplay, so there doesn't make.
Don't say that, Marcus. Don't say that.
You need to make a bet for the next prediction show. If my man loses, he gonna wear a One Piece cosplay.
Wow.
I'm all for that.
The One Piece movie is good. I don't have time to watch the whole series.
What movie? I mean, there is no. You mean the show? I guess.
Probably talking about the live action joint on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna watch that joint. Say hi to the Waterman at Otakon.
Hey,
Let me tell you something. The Waterman at
Baltimore. Yeah,
so Otakon, so they used to be there, but they moved Otakon from Baltimore to DC now.
Yeah, so he not there.
Now it's just Baltimore Con. And he hadn't been there in like 2 years.
Yeah, I worry that worry a little bit. Yeah, he's not there this year. I feel like we got to put the word out and see if we can find my man.
Well done, J. Robert Dean. None of us need to see Sin in the One Piece.
No, sir.
There you go. My man said I have a sweet tooth, twisted metal, and
Cockazoo.
You got closet cosplays, Marcus. Where are you wearing them? You don't come out the house. Look, this ain't ice cold water.
That's it.
Straight up. I got that ice. Straight up. Listen, spoiler boys for the third episode of Secret Invasion is live. I highly suggest you go and check it out. If you have been watching Spoiler Boys, actually, I suggest you check it out, even if you haven't, if you don't care about spoilers. We will make sure that next week's episode goes live on Monday. I'm so excited for tomorrow, y'all.
I am too.
I'm so ready for some Secret Invasion.
I'm about to get
it's out here.
Like
it's out here. Nah, I'm not that excited, dog. I'm not doing that. But yeah, it's joint is starting to work. Are we doing a Spoiler Boys for Warrior? No, dog. Oh, I mean, no, dog. There's too much happening. We gotta do this. We gotta do Ahsoka. Man, I gotta go see this. I got to go see this Mission Impossible. Them trailers doing something to me, man. Like I got to, bro. And like them joints like that. I really need to. I'm a little like, at least they told us, like, really gave us like
it's a part one.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like mentally unprepared for the cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Still, that joint. I'm not putting that up there. G said I'll check it out tomorrow. About to watch episode 3 tonight. Hey G, let me tell you something. Pay very close attention at the end, and then watch Spoiler Boys, bro. It gets real. It gets really real. No, it's ain't. Yeah, J. Robert Deans, Haley Atwell. I'm in. Let me tell y'all something. Last night, I rewatched the first episode of What If. That joint is like that. They needed to do a Captain Carter series, period. Yeah. She was punishing, bruh. The action in that joint is fantastic, bruh. Fantastic. I don't think they matched it at all throughout the rest of the series. But now I'm like, I gotta watch more.
She said she gonna come downstairs.
All right, let me tell you something. I will eat all.
Oh, I got the cookies.
I'll crush them all. Don't threaten me. I know Tom Cruise does his own stunts, and he is a boss. Here she come. There she come. I hear her falling down the steps now. She was supposed to have been came got these joints. She's like, I ain't eat them already. Here we go. Don't come down here. Don't come down here.
We are going to see the Barbie movie.
Who is we?
We.
You and Nana?
No.
Oh, you want to see the Barbie movie?
We're going to see the Barbie movie.
You.
Exactly.
Tatiana said, best peanut butter cookies ever. OMG. Hey, I'm making like 2 new batches this weekend, Tatiana. What was that noise? Yeah, that noise was how it sounds when your adult child yells at you because you about to eat all the cookies you made for her sister. Technically, that her sister didn't want. So we ate them joints, didn't we, Jokes? We was eating them joints. Jokes. I'm making more cake this weekend. You know what I'm saying? It's out here.
I'm making bait.
I'm going to pull up and get a slice.
Happens sometimes. You was here today, Sin. I started to give you a joint, but you know, we was in a rush. We were supposed to be recording early. It was late. Traffic. Gotta show you how to make a cupcake sandwich. Oh, that's a thing in this house. Cupcake sandwich. All right. Jokes, you got a job to do. Can you do it?
I actually can do the job.
Thanks. I appreciate you. While he's doing his job, Sin, you got a job to do?
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, and Ellis Mbe. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
It's a fact. We really do. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. It's been a long show. I wasn't expecting this show to be this long. I was like, man, it's probably gonna be like an hour. And we're gonna get in, we're gonna get out. But lots to talk about. It was a good show. Thank y'all for being so active. We have Otakon coming in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We get a break this weekend. We have TCon coming in a couple of weeks. Might have a planner convention coming up in a couple of weeks. There's a lot happening right now. So we're staying busy. We'll keep you guys, posted. Make sure you follow those Beacons links. Follow us on Instagram. A lot of new posts going up there. TikTok and so forth. So again, thank y'all for hanging out. Thank you to everybody who was at Blerdcon and came to the panel and hung out with us. Greatly appreciate your support there and here as well. Thank you so much, G. I appreciate it. Andrew, have a wonderful evening and a great week. J. Robert Dean said, you realize now you basically my humor from two sides. Good luck. Hey, listen, let me tell you what I can handle. Because I can just not post your comments up. Good night, J. Robert Deans. It is wonderful to have you guys hanging out with us in the chat again. We have missed you. You guys it's been a while since you guys have been able to hang out with us for a long time. But I'm glad to have you, and happy belated birthday to Sam. I know she went off to sleep. Gage gonna be on the next episode of The Finisher. For what? I will tell you something. I made that prediction show like that.
Just him being there on the wrestling.
Listen, I was pulling joints out the air, but I was making sense. Like I was just being like, boom, and then y'all be like, hey, you know what? Oh man, facts. J. Robert is the real MVP. We know it's been a crazy couple of months. Again, we're glad y'all are kind of back in the fold. Kill it also. So With that, we're gonna close this out. Jokes. Tell the people what I need them to hear.
And remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we're out. Toodles and lose.